Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. Forgive us on the background noise. We're continuing to erect our new office building here at the front of the property. And once it is complete, we'll be inviting all of you to come in. We're going to have a really nice training center for in-person trainings to complement these daily Zooms. Today is April 29th, and our agenda is twofold. First off, what we want to do is make sure that all of you who are resellers, otherwise known as grant coordinators, that you're open for business. There's no cost to be a reseller, no contract to sign. Just come over to 509pacific.org, our website, and our nonprofit website, and there's a form to complete, not a contract, and that will allow us to know that you're interested in being a reseller. We'll send over the reseller packet via email, and you'll be open for business within 15 minutes. So if anyone is interested in being more of a distribution partner, you're welcome to do so. On yesterday's training, which is posted on our YouTube channel, we actually talked about the 4 different roles. That's not our goal today, but if you missed yesterday's training, you may want to go to our YouTube channel and look at the other roles. So, does anyone need assistance getting open for business? Because once you fill out the form, and they're running a little bit behind, granted, because we added those, 62 attorneys from that legal conference we went to. So we're lagging a bit, I should say. But the bottom line is you can let us know and we can get the packet over to you. The packet comes with 3 items, one of which is this form we're talking about today. So the implementation packet comes with an editable client agreement, a flyer, and what we're on today, the comparison sheet. We've talked about this comparison sheet before, but let's go through some best practices. Does everyone that's on the live, we have 522 of you on this morning, do all of you have this comparison sheet? You should have it in Microsoft Word, so it's easily edited, so you can put your logo, you can put your call to action at the bottom. Do all of you have this comparison sheet? So it would have came in the initial implementation email after you filled out the form, along with the editable client agreement and also the flyer. Okay, sounds like everyone has it. So now let's talk about using it. So there's a few basic principles that we all need to be on the same page, and it's actually captured right here that on the side. If someone is looking for funding, business funding, so we're not talking about personal loans, not talking about personal funding, but if someone's looking for business funding, you have to have a fundable business. You can't skip that step. Now, you'll run into a lot of people that are frankly a little less sophisticated than yourself, and they'll just say, no, I just want the money. Well, do you want personal money or do you want business money, business funding, business financing? Usually they want business funding. Great. Do you have a fundable business? Hardly anyone does. That's unfortunate for them, but it's great for you as a reseller because nearly every small business owner that's looking for funding needs help in having a fundable business. You can't skip that step. So if we agree that we need to have a fundable business to get business funding, which is rule number 1, then we need to decide how are we going to go about getting a fundable business, because we can't just pray for it, can't just hope for it, can't just need it, can't just want it. We need to have a fundable business. Well, we believe, and I think I'm speaking for you and I both, we believe that the best way, the fastest way, the easiest way to have a fundable business is by getting a fundable shelf corp. And that's in fact what you offer. If you're a reseller, if you're a grant coordinator, then that's specifically what you are offering. So that's who we are. That's what we do. However, we don't want to be so presumptuous to think that clients don't have other options. So this comparison sheet was developed so you, as the reseller, as the grant coordinator, can have an interactive discussion, whether it be in person or online, with the prospect and help them come to their own conclusion of what's the best way to accomplish their goal. So their goal is to get business funding, but we said you can't just need business funding. We're going to need to first have a fundable business. So this sheet, which we're going to go through, I think does a nice job of describing the value proposition. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go through it. First of all, when someone purchases a fundable shelf corp, it is guaranteed funding. Guaranteed funding. So there's very few ways that someone can legitimately get a promise that's specifically in writing to get guaranteed funding. And so that is our model, that is our approach, that is legal, ethical, and that's what we do. So we know that if they choose to work with you and get a fundable shelf corp, then they will get at least 100,000. Now we can pursue more, and most clients want more, but the promise, the guarantee is a minimum of 100,000, and that is a promise we make. So as they're considering, well, what other options do they have to do their capital raise? The first question you might want to ask them is, well, what other options are you considering? And then map it out. Okay, or if you're looking at option B, whatever B might be, then does it offer in writing guaranteed funding? And if so, you check the box, and if not, you leave it blank. Make sense? Second, we include with the Fundable Shelf Corp a free business plan and financials. So that's important because lenders want to see that. If we're going to go pursue a large business loan, we're going to need to be able to provide the documentation that the lenders want to see. Is that included with the Fundable Shelf Corp? It sure is. Is it included in the other options they're considering? I don't know. You'd have to ask them if they even have any other options. So what are we doing as we go through this? We're building financial literacy because a lot of these folks, they don't even know what it takes to have a fundable business. So we need to help them understand that. And then secondly, what we can do is we can then also help them understand our value proposition versus the alternatives. Now, every once in a while, someone will say, well, why would you even want to introduce other options? Isn't that, it's like going to a car dealership. You go to the BMW dealership and they start, promoting Mercedes. They wouldn't do that. Well, we want what's ever best for the client. We're client driven. So our goal is for the client to accomplish their goals. Now, we do believe that 99 out of 100 times, the Fundable Shelf Corp is going to be the best way, but we want them to come to their own conclusion. So, free credit improvement. And I had a call just this morning, and he's so excited, he's texted me again, even since we've been doing the Zoom already in the first 9 minutes. So, there's a lot of people not like you. There's a lot of people that don't know what it takes to have a fundable business. You know that. There's a lot of people, specifically on this point, who have not managed their credit well. Now, everybody has a reason, everyone has an excuse, and you and I aren't going to judge people based on their credit. But it's true that a lot of entrepreneurs will have a rocky road, and the impact is that their personal credit is not so good. Because we know we're going to add trade lines for the business credit that maybe could be more explicitly stated. But here we're talking about on the personal credit side, there's no personal credit necessary to enroll in the Fundable Shelf Corp. We have financing that is available even without a credit check. But beyond all that, credit still, it's good to have good credit. And so that is a free resource that is included. And so again, if you're going through this comparison sheet with someone, you could ask them about option B and option C and option D, if they do have other options, and ask them, as well as we've done on the other rows, hey, are these others going to help you with credit? Now, what do you and I know about credit? So credit is optimized based upon the absence of negative and the presence of positive. So normally the way that we would build credit for a business is to add positive trade lines, which we do. That's part of the Shelf Corp. On the personal side, we can help them remove negative and add positive trade lines. That's how you get an optimal score. Some people think, oh, if you just take the negative items off, that they'll have a great credit score, but usually not. You need to have the presence of positive, you need to have good payment history, as well as the absence of bad payment history. So that's included. Now, this is not a traditional credit repair approach, dispute. We actually work with a legal team that uses more advanced strategies. So no cost for it included, and you might be surprised how many people need this. All right, so then the next is we're also including the business entity and the business address. So just like I said before, that's included in our value proposition, what you and I are offering them as they're considering options B, C, and D. If they have others, it's good to find out if they have that available or not. If so, mark the box yes. If not, leave it blank, because at the end, we'll be able to calculate essentially which is the best choice, which of these columns has the most check marks. So it's like a scoring system. We're able to transfer to them $100,000 in the first 24 hours. So from the time that they've signed up for the Shelf Corp, we're able to get everything set up. Takes us 7 days to get the Shelf Corp paperwork all in their name. That's not the point we're on at the moment, but we can get that first 100,000 of AR over to them typically in 24 hours. Then we can even start liquidating that if they want. So is that included? Yes. Is that included with options B, C, and D? Don't know, probably not, but you want them to tell you if it is or not. What you and I know is a lot of what funding is based around. It's based around the 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capacity. And so with that being said, we're helping them with collateral, we're helping them with credit, both personal and business, and we also help with capacity, otherwise known as cash flow. The opportunity fund is included, and that is, I think, a big differentiator. I think the fact that we include all 3 C's is a big differentiator, and that's frankly why we can guarantee results. I don't think any other option that offers some partial set of resources could ever do this, because when it comes to funding, it comes down to the 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capacity. So what's the point? We include all 3 C's, including access to daily deposits. The daily deposits are not a loan. They don't have to apply for, and there's no repayment. But the opportunity fund helps them so they have those daily deposits going into their business account. And so with that, that strengthens the bank rating, which we've had separate trainings on how bank ratings are calculated, not really the point this morning, improves their financials. And of course, it's real money. It's designed to put $5,000 a day into their business account. So not a real big deal. It's not like winning the lottery. It's not in lieu of the funding, but in addition to the funding, in addition to the 100,000 transfer, we can set them up in the opportunity fund, $5,000 a day, Monday through Friday, nothing on weekends or holidays, $25,000 a week, $100,000 a month is the way that that's designed. So is that included? Yes. Do they have access to that with their other options? I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I don't think so. And then we get down to the out-of-pocket cost. So with approved credit, there's no out-of-pocket cost for the Fundable Shelf Corp. They'll fill out so the process is, I think you know, is that they'll come to you. Let's go ahead and put the notes screen up. So what's the process? So you sell them, you meaning reseller, sell them a Fundable Shelf Corp. So you're going to use the editable client agreement that we provided you back when you first signed up. You got that along with the flyer and this comparison sheet. You're going to set the price, so you determine how much you want to sell it for. Then the next step is then we're going to send them a finance application. So we didn't say that the Shelf Corp is free. We said there's no out-of-pocket cost. Now, technically, it is free because of the grant, and the grant reimburses them after funding, but let's not muddy the water yet. So we'll send them a finance app. They'll get offers to choose from to pay for the Shelf Corp. Everyone will get at least one offer, regardless of how bad their file is, because we have that new Sweet Pay that we talked about recently. If you're not familiar with Sweet Pay, you can go watch that training. So no out of pocket doesn't mean that it's free, although it is free once the grant reimburses them after they go through funding. But essentially, it's like going to a car dealership and not having to put any money down. So they're able to pay for the Shelf Corp out of the financing they receive. So with that being said, what we've done is we've simply reviewed this comparison sheet. Each of you should have an editable version of this in Microsoft Word. You can put your logo or anything up in the top left you want. You can change the call to action at the bottom. But what it does is it gives you, I think, some really good talking points about what's included with the Shelf Corp, what makes it different, what makes it valuable. So let's get to the questions, comments, concerns that you have, so we're able to make sure that you're ready to leave today's Zoom and go implement. Who has question? And you can type those into the question and answer. They're kind of like a chat box of a Zoom. Anyone have questions, comments, concerns that I can help you with in terms of using the comparison sheet to educate, to build financial literacy, and frankly, to enroll clients? Because if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, and I'm not saying you're not, but if anyone wants to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to solve other people's problems, right? So the problem that we solve directly is access to capital, but indirectly, we're also solving the problem of financial literacy, because a lot of these folks, they don't have the sophistication that you have. They don't know. So are any of you, and it's okay if you're not, but are any of you regularly using the comparison sheet currently? I don't mean that I've persuaded you now and you're going to do something different going forward, but in the past. So in the month of April up through today, but prior to today's Zoom, have any of you been using the comparison sheet as part of your effort to educate and to convert? Convert means moving a prospect to a client. Just curious if anyone has, because we've been including it in the implementation packet for months and months and months. But I had a hunch, as Jordan is admitting, that a lot of you are not using it. Front says he is. Good. All right, what else can I help you with before we wrap it up today? Today's goal was to help you understand best practices on using the business funding comparison sheet. So let's go ahead and cover a few. Oops, I didn't mean to get rid of that. Understand business funding comparison sheet. I meant to type down here some best practices. So first of which is, educate your prospect. If all you do is say, hey, I'm selling Shelf Corps, wouldn't you like to buy one? You're not connecting with the prospect. You're not helping them understand how you're going to solve their problem. So that's a problem that we need to resolve. So we want to educate the prospect, and then specifically, we want to have what we'll call a live interaction with the prospect. Forgive me for saying this and don't take offense, but I think some people are lazy and they're like, okay, well, I'll send it to the client. That'll do the job. But that's half-assed, right? You don't just send this to the client and hope that they read it and assimilate it and make decisions off of it. That's half-assed. Don't do it that way. You need to get it to them and then go through it with them, either in person or do a Zoom, do a shared screen. It's up to you. You're the marketing expert. I'm not going to get in your space, but make it interactive, right? It shouldn't be, oh, I sent it to them, that's good enough. I wonder why no one's signing up. That's half-assed. Don't do things half-assed. All right. And then the third is kind of a next step. When enrolling a client in a fundable shelf corp, be with them or be on the phone with them and stay live with them until they have enrolled. So similar to what I just made out, my point I made here, don't just send this to people, go through it with them. Some of you are sending a client agreement to the client and then just leaving it to them to fill out at their own discretion. That's again a half-ass approach. Don't do that. Hopefully you set your client agreement up in DocuSign or Adobe, whatever e-signature software that you're using. Be on the phone with them, send them the link so they have access, and stay on the phone with them to answer their questions and walk them through the process. It's half-assed just to go send your contract out to people or send your link and then just leave it to them to do on their own. You'll have damn close to 100% conversion rate if you'll do these best practices. If you'll educate your prospect so they really understand what they're getting and why they'd want to do it, and there's no other close options. Secondly, do it in a live fashion. But most importantly, when you're doing the client agreement, literally walk them through it. Don't just send it to them. And so that way you don't have to follow up with them in 24 hours. Hey, Joe, you said you're going to sign up. You didn't do it. No, be on the phone with Joe when you send him the agreement. And let's say Joe says he's driving. I'm driving right now. Then you'd ask Joe, okay, well, when will you not be driving? Is there a Denny's nearby you can stop at? When would be convenient for me to call you back? Oh, in an hour. Great. So you're organized, right? You're a professional. Set a tickler, call them back in an hour. Then send them the agreement. And while you're on the phone with them, walk them through it, and 99.9% of the people will enroll. There's too much half-assed effort by some of you. So I'm not taking stabs at all of you, but some of you, you're not running your sales shop professionally, and the results that you're having are abysmal. So these are some great best practices, in my opinion. Educate your prospects so they know what the fuck they're getting. Help them understand why it's better than any other option. The fact that there's no out-of-pocket cost is going to help you close just about everyone. And then be with them virtually or in person to help them enroll. All right. What other questions, comments, concerns do any of you have today? We have our resources and contact information at the bottom for a live person during office hours. Last night, we had a gentleman, he called multiple times after hours. Our after hours emergency team's getting it. It's like, what is your emergency, sir? What is your emergency? So most businesses work during normal office hours. That's kind of the way it normally works. So if you call our office during normal office hours, a live person will answer the phone. Additionally, if you want to text, you can text the support line. It's a different number. If you want to schedule, you can schedule. If you need quick cash, it's on 509 Pacific. If you need to become a reseller/grant coordinator, means the same thing. That's also in 509 Pacific. And then we have our YouTube channel. So with that being said, have a great day. Let's finish the month strong, and we will see you back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, same time, same place. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.